up, G? Still, man.
This about to be crazy.
I'm on the shuttle right now. Chicago forms my like primary approach to rap, because my primary approach to rap is still like kind of punchline. You know what I mean? So like I'm still, when I write, I tend to write for like impactful lines. You know what I mean? Even if you're not straight up battling, it's that same way of like looking at the rhyme and like what's the important part to get to, right? Because that's what Chicago exposed me to when I first started rapping. Like everybody was freestyling, all the freestyling was setting up punchlines, and all the battling was set up punchline, set up punchline. It wasn't really till I got out here that the whole world of like rap styles opened up to me, and I was able to see like, oh, like it's so many different ways to rap and be effective, and you're a more well-rounded rapper if you're able to like touch all these different styles. So like that. But that being my primary thing, the punchline thing, that's always gonna be in me. You know what I mean? Like people say that like a lot of my bars are like humorous, and that's where that comes from. You know what I mean? It comes from just like wanting to get to a line, freestyling, and entertaining everybody in the cypher. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy that you mentioned Chance, because to me, Chance's style reminds me more of like LA rappers. Because Chance's style is very like melodic and it's precise, it's very technical. Like you can tell he probably writes a song, demos it, and then memorizes it 3, 4, 5 different ways before he lays it down. It's like what he's doing inside of his delivery. You don't do that on the first take after you write a bar immediately. Like that takes a certain amount of rehearsal and like applying yourself to it technically. So he actually reminds me more of LA dudes. But yeah, his style is, to me, is way more technical than mine. Mine is more like a little more loose. You know what I mean? His is very like precise. Back and forth, right? Because sometimes I'm super paying attention to what's happening, because I feel like rap music is in a real good place right now in terms of what I value from it. Like in terms of the individual rappers' expression being important, it's an all-time high for that. Where like it used to, you had to do a specific kind of thing from the top to the bottom to be like in that conversation. Now like every rapper can be as weird as they want from the top to the bottom, right? So to me, sometimes it's really important to pay attention to what people are doing, because the doors are opening up all over the place for me to be able to do exactly what I want, right? And sometimes I don't want no parts of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes like somebody really big will drop an album, everybody listening to it, and I'm just like, I don't even want to, because I'm focusing on my thing right now, and I don't want to even be influenced by it. You know what I mean? It goes back and forth, but like it's Drake songs I love. Of course, it's hella Kendrick songs that I love. Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, well, just about everybody. I can't say I love everybody, but for the most part, the quality of rap that's happening right now everywhere, like it's all really good compared to how it used to be, where you know you had to be. I mean, there was a time when like MC Hammer was the biggest rapper in the world, right? For you to be the top rapper, you had to kind of have, you know, you couldn't really be like tight like that. You know what I mean? You
definitely need a gimmick.
Right, a gimmick or something kind of half corny, right? Like it was different. And now I feel like not only can you be talented, you gotta be talented. Like it's barely anybody on top right now that suck. And you used to be able to suck and be huge. You know what I mean? And I feel like because of that, like, you know, we've never been in a time where like a rapper like Kendrick could be a top rapper. Like all of them different styles, all them different approaches. He can change his look from album to album. He can make songs that's straight for the streets. He can make super political, cerebral, a weird song, whatever he want to do. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's really great for people's perception of what this is. Yeah. I wish a label would influence me more. And when I say that, I mean this. Like, I wish the people who run the labels that I work with like had a little bit more kind of guidance maybe, and they don't typically, but that speaks to like what I do being usually a thing that's not like what the rest of the artists do. So that like I tend to come in with my music, with my plan for how I think it'll go best, and either they'll pay for it or they won't pay for it. You know what I mean? Or we make some type of adjustments to how, you know, because I've been on 4 or 5 different labels and I've collected all my experiences and I kind of know what works. Like I kind of like, okay, I like to do PR this way. I like to do manufacturing this way. I like to have a pre-order that's like this. And Mello's been great, man. They've been able to roll with kind of how I want to do things, and we've been able to roll with how they want to do things, and so far everything's been pretty successful.
Okay, so you're still on Mello?
Yeah, the new album's coming out on Mello. Holding Back the Years from Simply Red. You remember that? That's an 80s joint, man. But it's like the first music video I remember seeing, and like I thought the song was so good. I had to be like 4 or 5 years old or something like that, and just
and you took that in.
Yeah, like I loved it, you know what I mean? And then like my grandfather like would play songs like while he was driving, because I lived with my grandparents. They would play songs on the radio while we was in the car, and like that stuff would just, like I would just be thinking about the songs all day, you know what I mean? Right. So like you got that era of stuff where I'm just like, oh, listening and noticing stuff. And then like my stepsister was super into rap, so I would come out here, and she lived out here in LA and I was in Chicago, and she just had all the rap. So like I'm hearing Ice-T and NWA and all of that, and like, and even, you know, like East Coast stuff, Tribe and all of that, like for the first time when I'm like 8, 9 years old, and them songs did a lot for me. And then watching a lot of MTV growing up, so like listening to rock music that way, hearing like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Primus and all of them bands. Like it's just been phases, and every time, like, you know, with every wave of music, I kind of like gravitate towards different things, you know. And I feel like the reason my hard drive is so big, the reason why my Spotify playlist is all crazy, because I just collect that stuff, you know what I mean? And now I'm in a position where like I ain't never got to let go of the old stuff. It's all together, you know what I mean? Right, so like the whole history of my music listening, I got right there. Most of what I did in college was download music, you know what I mean? And like me now, like I'm in the industry, I understand like how bad all that downloading was and like what it did and all of that. But when I first had that capability to be able to just like think of something and go find it and get it for free, dude, like man, every hard drive I had, like from there basically till now, is just full of music, you know what I mean? Like
you was a LimeWire baby.
LimeWire, SoulSeek, Morpheus, Audio Galaxy, Napster, of course, all of them, everything. Like I kind of stopped with LimeWire because LimeWire was the first one where you would download it and then it would start messing your computer up. Right. You know what I mean? But all the ones before that, it was cool because it was just people who all love like file sharing, and it wasn't like nobody trying to infiltrate your system, you know.
So you swung from that to now. What's your music sourcing? Really,
I'm on Spotify now. Like, cause I mean, for $10 a month, and again, it's like really everything I can think of is on there. So like, if it ain't nothing new I'm into, I can go flip and find some Paul McCartney Wings record I ain't heard, you know what I mean, and hear that, like, you know what I mean. It's just having access to the almost complete digital library of music, you know. Like the only stuff they really don't have is that I would want to hear is like the super underground rap stuff from like 96 to 2000 or whatever. Always made beats.
You have always made beats.
Always made beats, man.
Yes.
And you know, like the thing about being out here in LA, especially the time when I got here and what was happening, like the beat scene was starting, and the leap that Cass was making with beats from just like chopping up a loop and putting drums on it to like synthesizers and side chaining and mixing, where like the beats that my broke homies was making in their bedrooms was just crazy. And so quickly I was like, oh, this ain't, like, I don't really even want to waste my time doing beats because I'm not going to be able to stand up to like the homies, you know what I mean? So,
but that, we got to take a note and say like your era is like Mr. DiBiase,
right?
NA,
yes.
Super,
Super. Yeah.
You know, all these dudes, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, and they really they embraced it. They figured out how to use everything from like the old machines, like the SPs, to like the new software and all of that, and they were so tight. So when got time for me to start making records, I just got beats from them because they was already ready. You know what I mean? Where my beats I felt like was lacking. Now over the course of that time, I was still making beats, and in the last few years, I've really kind of figured out how to use Ableton Live to like get the kind of sound I want, and that's how I was able to produce that record time materials, because like I kind of found my groove and how to do that and make beats sound like how I wanted them to sound. And now that I'm there, I'm definitely doing it more, but still when it comes time for me to make albums that I want to put out in the world and say this is my 2017 rap album, whatever, like I want to get beats from people who I know make tight beats, you know what I mean? And so I tend to still get a lot of beats from others. I don't say any more competitive than anybody else. I mean, we rappers, so it's always ego involved, you know, and I'm not gonna sit here and make it sound like everything is all love all the time. And it is all love all the time, but inside of that love, like, you know, there's sometimes you could feel like, I wouldn't want to, because it ain't as far as no like jealousy type situation ever, but you know, it is competition sometimes, but ultimately
you definitely don't want to fall off after any new move on to a new venture. You don't want to fall off.
Exactly.
You want it to be done the least.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want, you know, man, you want to make sure your stuff is on the level when you know your brothers is tight. Like you want to make sure that, you know, because the truth of the matter is, the fans, they not picking one over another, but sometimes we get it in our head that it's like that, because sometimes they'll, you know, you get some fans that come to the show and say a little weird shit like that. Oh, you was the best one. Nobody want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? Like, but we get that in our heads, and we feel like, oh, it's just a small pie, and I gotta hold my part of the pie. But really, honestly, dude, the same fans that listen to me, they listen to Tyler, they listen to Vince Staples, they listen to Kendrick, they could listen to fucking Post Malone. It ain't like it used to be, especially like we used to be like, oh, it's just underground this and fuck that commercial shit. These fans, they don't really care. Like they either like it or they don't, and they put it in their library or they don't, and they see that there's room to get down with everybody. You know what I mean? And the Hellfyre situation it's all love, man. And all my brothers, I get along with all of them real great, and I wish that situation could have lived out its full potential. Man. You know what I mean? Like we was really on the edge of being able to do something. Yeah. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm a fucking adult. You know what I mean? I'm a full-grown adult. And
responsibilities.
And if it ain't right, if it ain't set up right, then I can't. You know what I mean? I can't keep doing it. Most important thing I would give up in my life before music. I might give up my right to vote before I gave up music. I might do that.
What about a close friend?
I mean, I don't got that many close friends, so I can't really say that.
Okay,
like, I got like 4 close friends. Like,
would you give up Dumbfoundead or being able to find new music?
Hold on. You mean give up like he died?
No. I never talk to you or listen to your music or talk to you again.
Oh yeah. I would certainly give up. I don't talk to him that much now. You know what I mean? Like, I love him, but you know what I mean? If it came down to it, yeah, she's like, cause music, it just holds a real important spot in my life, like from childhood, you know what I mean, all the way through now. Like it's just this different kind of relationship, you know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking about music and hearing music in my head.